Story 1. Trapped on the Cursed Midnight Express. A true horror story. Imagine this. It's pitch black, rain hammering down like 1,000 tiny fists, and you're alone on a deserted road in the middle of nowhere. That's where we find Jake Harper, a 28-year-old delivery driver from Cleveland, Ohio, on a stormy night in October 2025. He's exhausted, his truck's low on gas, and his phone's dead. Ahead, through the blur of his windshield wipers, he spots an old crumbling train station, Eldridge Station, a relic from the 1900s, abandoned for decades in the outskirts of Toledo, Ohio. Locals whisper about it, calling it the Station of the Lost. They say a ghostly train appears at midnight, and those who board it never return. Jake, a practical guy, laughs off such stories, but tonight, something feels wrong. As he pulls over to wait out the storm, a bone-chilling sound cuts through the rain. A train whistle, sharp and mournful, echoing from the station. The thing is, the tracks were ripped up 50 years ago. No trains run here anymore. Curiosity, or maybe something darker, pulls Jake toward the station. His boots crunch on gravel as he approaches the rusted gates. The air grows colder, heavier, like it's pressing against his chest. Then he sees it, a massive, ancient train, its black iron frame gleaming under flickering platform lights that shouldn't be working. The doors slide open with a hiss, revealing an empty carriage bathed in an eerie green glow. A voice, low and gravelly, crackles through the station's broken speakers. All aboard the Midnight Express. Jake's heart races. He knows he should turn back, but his feet move forward, drawn to the open door. What's waiting inside? And why does he feel like he's being watched? Stay with me, because this is only the beginning of a nightmare that will leave you questioning what's real. Jake steps into the station, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. Cobwebs drape the ticket booth, and the air smells of rot and something metallic, like old blood. He notices a faded sign above the platform. Eldridge Station, Eston, 1897. Below it, someone has scratched the words, "Beware the Midnight Express." His stomach twists, but he shakes it off. Just a prank, he mutters. The train whistle screams again, louder, closer, vibrating through his bones. He turns toward the platform, and there it is. The train, its windows dark except for that sickly green light pulsing from within. The doors are still open, and now he hears whispers, faint and overlapping, like a crowd of voices just out of reach. Jake, come, join us. His name. How do they know his name? He freezes, gripping his flashlight tighter. The logical part of his mind screams to run, but something deeper, something primal, urges him forward. He steps onto the train, and the doors slam shut behind him. The carriage is empty, but the seats are worn, stained with dark patches that look disturbingly like dried blood. The train lurches forward, and the world outside the windows vanishes into a void of black. No stars, no trees, just endless darkness. Jake's breath catches as the same gravelly voice from the station speakers fills the carriage. Welcome to the Midnight Express. This train has no destination and no return. His flashlight flickers, then dies. In the dim green glow, he sees shapes forming in the seats around him, shadowy figures, their faces blurred, their eyes hollow. One of them turns to him, its mouth moving without sound. You shouldn't have come. Jake's scream is swallowed by the roar of the train as it plunges deeper into the unknown. What has he just stepped into? And will he ever step out? The train rattles violently, shaking Jake to his core. He stumbles down the aisle, clutching the seats for balance. The air inside is freezing, his breath visible in clouds. The shadowy figures are clearer now. Men, women, even children, all dressed in outdated clothing, like they stepped out of a history book. A woman in a 1920s flapper dress stares at him, her eyes sunken, her lips cracked. "You're one of us now," she whispers, her voice echoing inside his skull. Jake shakes his head, refusing to believe it. He bangs on the doors, but they're sealed tight, the metal cold enough to burn his fists. The train's walls seem to pulse, almost alive, and the green light grows brighter, revealing strange symbols carved into the ceiling. Swirling, jagged shapes that hurt to look at. Jake's mind races. He remembers a story his grandfather told him about Eldridge Station, about a train derailment in 1923 that killed dozens. The official report blamed faulty tracks, but locals swore the train was cursed, bound to a deal made with something not human. Jake thought it was just a tall tale, but now, trapped on this impossible train, he's not so sure. He moves to the next carriage, hoping for an exit. Instead, he finds a conductor, a tall, gaunt figure in a tattered uniform, his face half hidden by a cap. The conductor doesn't speak, but he points to a ticket in Jake's pocket. Jake pulls it out, confused. He didn't buy a ticket. The paper is yellowed, brittle, stamped with the words, "Midnight Express, one way." His hands shake as he looks up, but the conductor is gone. The whispers grow louder, now a chorus of voices chanting his name. Jake runs, passing through carriage after carriage, each one more decayed than the last. In one, he finds old photographs scattered on the floor, black and white images of passengers, their faces matching the ghostly figures around him. Then he sees it, a photo of himself, taken tonight, standing on the platform. His heart stops. How is this possible? The train jerks, throwing him to the floor. The lights flicker, and the figures close in, their hands reaching for him. "Stay with us," they chant. Jake scrambles to his feet, desperate for a way out. He finds a control panel at the end of the carriage, but the levers are rusted, the buttons unresponsive. The train's speed increases, the rattling now a deafening roar. Outside, the void begins to shift, revealing glimpses of a twisted, otherworldly landscape. Jagged spires, glowing red eyes watching from the dark. Jake realizes this isn't just a train. It's a prison, a trap for souls, and he's its latest passenger. But why him? And how can he escape? Jake's heart pounds like a drum as he presses himself against the cold, rusted control panel. The train's relentless shaking threatening to throw him off balance. The air in the carriage is thick, suffocating, as if the walls themselves are breathing. The ghostly passengers, their hollow eyes fixed on him, have stopped chanting, but their presence feels heavier, like a weight pressing on his soul. The green glow pulses faster now, syncing with the train's increasing speed. Jake's eyes dart to the ticket in his hand. The words, "Midnight Express, one way," seem to burn into his skin. He shoves it back into his pocket, refusing to accept its meaning. The photographs he found in the last carriage haunt him, especially the one of himself, standing on the platform, his face pale and lifeless like the others. He needs answers, and he needs them now, before this train drags him to whatever hell it's bound for. He forces himself to move, stumbling through the next carriage door. This one is different, darker, colder, with an oppressive silence that swallows even the train's roar. The seats are gone, replaced by rows of iron chains dangling from the ceiling, clinking softly as the train sways. At the far end, a single figure sits on a bench, hunched over, scribbling in a tattered ledger. It's the conductor, his skeletal frame barely filling the frayed uniform. His cap casts a shadow over his face, but Jake can feel the weight of his gaze. "You're late," the conductor rasps, his voice like gravel scraping against stone. "Late," Jake stammers. "I didn't ask to be here." The conductor's head tilts, revealing a face that's more skull than flesh, with eyes like burning coals. "Everyone chooses," he says, tapping the ledger. Jake steps closer, peering at the pages. Names, hundreds of them, are scrawled in faded ink, each with a date stretching back to 1923. His own name is there, at the bottom, written in fresh, wet ink that smells of copper. "What is this?" Jake demands, his voice trembling. The conductor's lipless mouth curls into a grin. "The Midnight Express doesn't just take passengers, it claims them. You boarded, you chose." Jake's mind reels. He remembers the stories his grandfather told, how Eldridge Station was built on cursed land, a place where desperate men made a deal with something ancient and hungry to keep the trains running during the Great Depression. A pact sealed in blood, binding souls to the train forever. He thought it was just a ghost story, but now, standing in this nightmare, it feels all too real. The conductor slams the ledger shut, and the chains above rattle violently. "You can't leave," he says, "but you can choose your fate. Stay as a passenger, or become part of the train." Jake's blood runs cold. "Part of the train?" he whispers. The conductor points to the walls, where the symbols Jake saw earlier now glow red, pulsing like a heartbeat. "The train feeds," the conductor says. "It needs souls to run. Give yourself to it, and you'll live forever. Resist, and you'll wander the void with them." He gestures to the shadows, where the ghostly passengers reappear, their faces twisted in silent screams. Jake backs away, his mind racing for a way out. He notices a small hatch in the floor, barely visible under the flickering light. It's rusted, but it might lead somewhere. Anywhere but here. He lunges for it, prying it open with trembling hands. A blast of icy air hits him, carrying whispers that claw at his mind. "Stay, stay." The conductor laughs, a sound like breaking glass. "You can't escape the pact," he says. Jake hesitates, glancing at the hatch. Below is darkness, but above, the chains begin to move, slithering toward him like snakes. He has seconds to decide. Does he jump into the unknown, or face the conductor's offer? The train lurches, and the decision is made for him. The hatch slams shut, and the chains wrap around his wrists, pulling him upward. The last thing he sees is the conductor's burning eyes as the train plunges into a tunnel of screaming shadows. What lies beyond? And is there any way back for Jake? The chains bite into Jake Harper's wrists, cold as death, yanking him upward until his feet dangle above the carriage floor. The air is thick with the stench of rust and decay, and the green glow of the Midnight Express pulses like a dying star. The conductor's skeletal grin looms before him, those burning coal eyes boring into his soul. "You can't fight it, Jake," the conductor hisses, his voice slithering through the air like smoke. "The train always wins." Around him, the ghostly passengers materialize, their faces contorted in agony, mouths moving in silent pleas. Jake's heart thunders, but he refuses to give in. He's not ready to become part of this cursed train, not ready to lose himself to whatever nightmare powers it. With a surge of adrenaline, he twists his body, kicking at the chains. They groan but hold tight, the metal searing his skin. The train roars louder, shaking violently as it barrels through the endless tunnel of shadows, the walls now oozing a dark, viscous liquid that smells of blood. Jake's eyes dart around, searching for anything to help him. The hatch he tried to open is sealed shut, but he notices something new. A faint, flickering light at the far end of the carriage, behind the conductor. It's not the sickly green glow, but a soft, golden shimmer, like a candle in the dark. It feels alive, like a beacon of hope in this hell. "What's that?" Jake demands, his voice hoarse. The conductor's grin falters, and for the first time, he seems unsettled. "You see nothing," he snaps, but Jake catches a flicker of fear in those fiery eyes. The passengers' whispers grow frantic, their shadowy forms pressing closer, clawing at the air. "Don't look," they moan. "It burns." Jake ignores them, focusing on the golden light. It's coming from a cracked window, one he hadn't noticed before. Through it, he glimpses not the void, but a fleeting image, a field, a sunrise, a world that feels real, his world. The conductor steps forward, blocking his view. "You belong to the train now," he growls, raising the ledger. But Jake's not done fighting. With a desperate heave, he swings his legs, slamming his boots into the conductor's chest. The figure staggers, the ledger falling to the floor, pages scattering. The chains loosen just enough for Jake to wrench one hand free, pain shooting through his arm as he tears skin. He drops to the ground, scrambling toward the cracked window. The golden light grows brighter, warmer, and for a moment, he feels a spark of hope. But the train fights back. The walls pulse faster, the symbols glowing red hot, and the liquid oozing from them forms into hands, grabbing at his ankles. Jake kicks them away, his fingers brushing the window's edge. It's warm, almost alive, and he hears a faint voice. Not the conductor's, but a woman's, soft and urgent. "Break it, Jake. Break it now." He doesn't know who she is, but her words ignite something in him. He grabs a rusted pipe from the floor and swings with all his strength, shattering the window. A blast of warm air floods in, carrying the scent of grass and morning dew. The passengers scream, their forms dissolving into wisps of smoke. But the conductor isn't done. He reappears, towering now, his body elongating into something less human, his face a writhing mass of shadows. "You can't leave," he roars, his voice shaking the carriage. The train lurches, tilting violently, and Jake clings to the window frame as the void outside swirls with red eyes and jagged shapes. The golden light flickers, weakening, and Jake realizes he's running out of time. The woman's voice speaks again, clearer now. "The ledger, Jake. Destroy it." He spots the ledger among the scattered pages, its cover pulsing like a heart. With the pipe still in hand, he dives for it, dodging the conductor's claw-like hands. As he grabs the ledger, it burns his fingers, but he doesn't let go. This is his chance, his only way out. But what will happen if he destroys it? And who is the voice guiding him? The train's roar reaches a deafening crescendo as Jake raises the pipe, ready to strike. Jake Harper clutches the pulsating ledger, its heat searing his hands as the Midnight Express roars through its endless tunnel of shadows. The carriage shakes violently, the walls oozing black ichor that forms into writhing, clawing hands reaching for him. The conductor, now a towering, grotesque figure with a face of swirling shadows, looms over him, its voice a thunderous snarl. "You cannot break the pact." The golden light from the shattered window flickers, casting fleeting glimpses of a world beyond, green fields, a sunrise, freedom. The woman's voice, soft yet urgent, echoes in Jake's mind. "Destroy it, Jake. End it." The ledger pulses faster, like a heartbeat, each throb sending pain shooting through his arms. He knows this is his last chance. With the rusted tape gripped tightly, he raises it high, his muscles screaming. The passengers' ghostly wails fill the air, their hollow eyes pleading, some begging him to stop, others urging him on. The conductor lunges, its claws slashing through the air, grazing Jake's shoulder. Blood drips, but he doesn't falter. With a cry of defiance, he slams the pipe down, tearing through the ledger's cover. A blinding light erupts, and the train screeches, metal grinding against metal as if in agony. The carriage dissolves into chaos. The walls crack, the cymbals burning away, and the ghostly passengers scream, their forms unraveling into wisps of light that spiral toward the shattered window. The conductor's body twists, collapsing into itself, its burning eyes fixed on Jake. "You've doomed us all," it hisses, before vanishing in a burst of ash. The train lurches, slowing, and the void outside begins to fade, replaced by the faint outline of Eldridge Station's platform. Jake stumbles, clutching the pipe, his vision blurring from blood loss and exhaustion. The golden light grows stronger, and he hears the woman's voice one last time. "You're free, Jake. Go." He crawls toward the window, the warm air pulling him forward. With a final surge of strength, he hurls himself through, landing hard on the wet gravel of the station platform. The rain has stopped, and the first rays of dawn break over Toledo's horizon. Behind him, the train lets out a final, mournful whistle before dissolving into the morning mist, leaving only silence. Jake lies there, gasping, his body aching but alive. He checks his pocket. The ticket is gone, as if it never existed. Later, when he stumbles into a nearby diner, shaken but unharmed, he learns more about Eldridge Station. A local historian tells him the 1923 derailment wasn't just an accident. The station's builders, desperate to save their failing railway, made a deal with an entity they didn't understand, offering souls to keep the trains running. The ledger was the pack's anchor, binding passengers to the train for eternity. Jake's destruction of it broke the curse, freeing the trapped souls. Days later, he finds an old newspaper article online, dated 1923, with a photo of a young woman, a station worker who tried to warn others about the pact. Her face matches the voice he heard. Her name lost to history, but her courage etched in his memory. So, what's the lesson here? Jake's story teaches us that curiosity can lead to danger, but courage and determination can pull us back from the brink. In life, we all face moments where we're tempted to step into the unknown, whether it's a risky decision, a toxic relationship, or a path we know feels wrong. Jake's choice to fight, to trust that faint spark of hope, reminds us to listen to our instincts and hold fast to what's real, even when the darkness feels overwhelming. Historical accounts of abandoned stations like Eldridge, documented in Ohio's railway archives, show how fear and desperation can lead to disastrous choices, much like the pack that cursed the Midnight Express. When you're faced with your own train of temptation, ask yourself, is it worth the cost? Trust your gut. Fight for your freedom. And don't let fear chain you to a one-way ticket. This is the end of Jake's journey. But the question remains, what would you do if you heard that whistle in the night? If you enjoyed this tale, like and subscribe for more chilling stories that make you question what's out there. Stay safe, and maybe avoid old train stations after midnight. Story 2. The Shadow on the Platform, a terrifying true horror. Picture this. It's a moonless night, and a group of thrill-seeking friends sneak into an abandoned train station in the heart of Mobile, Alabama. The air is thick with humidity, and the distant hum of cicadas is the only sound breaking the eerie silence. This is Fairhope Station, a decaying relic from the 1930s, sealed off after a horrific train crash that killed dozens. Locals whisper of a shadowy figure haunting the platform, a man in a fedora who watches from the darkness. Most dismiss it as folklore, but tonight, 4 college students, Ethan, Mia, Tyler, and Sarah, are about to find out the truth. They're YouTubers, chasing views with their urban exploration channel, and Fairhope Station is their next big score. Armed with cameras, flashlights, and a reckless sense of adventure, they slip through a rusted gate, their laughter echoing in the empty station. But as they set up their gear, a faint sound cuts through the night. Slow, deliberate footsteps on the platform. The group freezes. The station is empty, yet the sound grows louder, closer. Ethan checks the camera, and his blood runs cold. The screen shows a tall, blurry figure in a fedora standing just behind them, staring directly into the lens. "Guys," he whispers, "there's something here." The footage glitches, and the screen goes black. What have they stumbled into? And why does it feel like they're being hunted? Stick around, because this night is about to spiral into a nightmare you won't forget. The group huddles together, their flashlights casting shaky beams across the cracked platform. The station is a graveyard of rusted benches and shattered ticket booths, with vines creeping through broken windows. Sarah, the skeptic, laughs nervously. "It's just a glitch, Ethan. Stop freaking out." But Mia, the group's tech expert, shakes her head, replaying the footage. The figure is still there, unmoving, its face obscured by the fedora's shadow. Tyler, the daredevil, suggests they explore deeper to catch it on camera. Against their better judgment, they move toward the platform's edge, where the old tracks lie buried under weeds. The footsteps start again, slow, heavy, like someone dragging their boots. Ethan swings his flashlight, but the platform is empty. Mia's camera beeps, low on battery, despite being fully charged an hour ago. "This place is draining us," she mutters. They find a faded sign, Fairhope Station, Est 1932, with graffiti scrawled below. "He sees you." A chill runs through the group. Tyler, trying to lighten the mood, jokes about ghost subscribers, but his voice cracks. Suddenly, Sarah gasps, pointing to the platform. A shadow stretches across the ground, tall and distorted, but no one casts it. The air grows heavy, and Mia's camera shuts off completely. Ethan's flashlight flickers, and in the brief darkness, they hear a low whisper. "You shouldn't be here." Panic sets in, but before they can run, Sarah collapses, her eyes rolling back, murmuring, "He wants me to stay." The group's screams echo as the station plunges into darkness. What is this figure, and why does it want Sarah? The group scrambles to help Sarah, who lies motionless on the platform, her breath shallow. Ethan shakes her, shouting her name, but she only mutters, "He's watching." Tyler, usually fearless, looks pale, his eyes darting to the shadows. Mia frantically tries to restart her camera, but it's dead. The screen cracked, as if crushed. The footsteps resume, circling them now, slow and deliberate, like a predator toying with its prey. Ethan's flashlight catches something. A fedora, lying on the platform, old and weathered, as if it's been there for decades. He picks it up, and a wave of nausea hits him. The air feels charged, like static before a storm. Mia notices a faint glow from the ticket booth, where a single bulb flickers despite the station's long-dead power. "We need to get out," she says, but the gate they entered through is now locked, the chain inexplicably intact. Tyler kicks it, cursing, but it doesn't budge. The group retreats to the ticket booth, hoping for answers. Inside, they find old photographs pinned to the walls, black and white images of passengers from the 1930s, their faces eerily similar to the ghostly figure in their footage. One photo shows a man in a fedora, his eyes scratched out, a caption reading, "The Watcher, 1937. Ethan's hands tremble as he pieces it together. His grandmother, a mobile native, once told him about Fairhope Station's dark history. After the 1937 crash, survivors claimed a man in a fedora appeared, offering to save them if they stayed. Those who agreed vanished, and the station was abandoned soon after. Ethan thought it was just a story, but now, trapped in this decaying relic, he's not so sure. The group hears a low hum like a train approaching, though no tracks remain. The booth's bulb bursts, plunging them into darkness. Sarah stirs, her voice not her own. "He sees everything." Mia screams as the fedora in Ethan's hand slips free, floating briefly before hitting the floor. The footsteps stop, replaced by a chilling laugh that seems to come from everywhere. Tyler grabs a crowbar from their gear, ready to fight, but the shadows shift, forming a tall figure at the platform's edge. Its fedora tilts, revealing no face, just a void. "You came to me," it whispers, and the ground trembles. The group bolts, dragging Sarah, but the station feels alive, its walls closing in. Can they escape before the Watcher claims them? The air in Fairhope Station grows colder, heavier, as Ethan, Mia, and Tyler drag Sarah's limp body toward the platform's edge, their breaths visible in the dim glow of a single flickering flashlight. The station feels like a living thing, its walls creaking, the shadows twisting into unnatural shapes. Sarah's murmurs, "He sees me, he sees me," send shivers down their spines. The chilling laugh of the Watcher echoes, bouncing off the decayed ticket booths and rusted benches, making it impossible to pinpoint its source. Ethan's heart pounds as he glances back at the fedora on the floor, now pulsing with a faint, unnatural light. "We need to get her out of here," Mia whispers, her voice trembling as she tries to revive her camera, but the device sparks and dies in her hands. Tyler grips the crowbar tightly, his knuckles white, scanning the darkness. "Where is it?" he growls. But the platform is empty, too empty. The footsteps start again, slow and deliberate, circling them like a vulture. Then, without warning, Sarah's eyes snap open, wide and unseeing. She bolts upright, her voice a guttural rasp. "You can't leave. He won't let you." The group freezes, their blood running cold as Sarah's head tilts unnaturally, her gaze fixed on something beyond them. Ethan swings the flashlight, its beam catching a glimpse of the Watcher at the platform's edge. A tall, shadowy figure in a fedora, its face a writhing void that seems to swallow the light. The air grows thick, almost suffocating, and the station's walls begin to ooze a dark, tar-like substance that drips onto the floor, forming pools that ripple as if alive. Mia gasps, pointing to the graffiti on the sign. "He sees you," now glowing red, the letters pulsing like a heartbeat. Tyler swings the crowbar at the air, shouting, "Show yourself!" But the Watcher vanishes, only to reappear closer, its form flickering like a broken film reel. Ethan's mind races, recalling his grandmother's stories about the 1937 crash. She mentioned a station worker, a man named Amos Reed, who survived but was never the same. Locals said he made a deal with something dark to survive the wreck, trading his soul to become the Watcher, a collector of those who dared enter Fairhope Station. Ethan thought it was just a ghost story, but now, trapped in this nightmare, it feels like a warning he ignored. The group stumbles toward the station's exit, but the gate is sealed, the chain now wrapped in thorny vines that seem to writhe. Sarah collapses again, clawing at her face, whispering, "He's inside me." Mia, near tears, notices an old timetable nailed to a wall, its date circled in red ink, all leading to 1937. Below it, a scratched message reads, "The Watcher binds you to the platform." Ethan realizes the truth. The Watcher doesn't just haunt the station. It claims those who stay too long. He grabs Mia's arm. "We need to destroy something, anything tied to him." Tyler points to the fedora, still glowing faintly on the floor. "That thing's not normal," he says. As Ethan reaches for it, the station shakes, and the pools of tar rise, forming hands that grab at their ankles. Sarah screams, her voice no longer her own. "Stay with me!" The Watcher appears behind her, its void-like face splitting into a grotesque smile. Ethan snatches the fedora, and a wave of icy pain shoots through him, visions flashing in his mind. Dozens of faces, passengers from 1937 trapped and screaming, their souls bound to the watcher's will. The group backs away, but the platform cracks beneath them, revealing a dark abyss below. The watcher's laugh grows louder and the station's lights flicker, casting strobe-like shadows. Ethan clutches the fedora, feeling it pulse like a living thing. "Burn it!" Mia shouts, pulling a lighter from her bag. But as Ethan flicks it on, the flame gutters, and the watcher's voice booms. "You cannot destroy me. You belong here." Sarah lunges, her movements jerky, trying to grab the fedora. Tyler tackles her, pinning her down, but her strength is unnatural. The station feels like it's collapsing, the walls closing in. Ethan's hand shakes as he holds the lighter to the fedora. Will it end the nightmare or unleash something worse? The watcher steps closer. Its void face inches from his own, whispering, "Choose." Ethan's hand trembles as he holds the flickering lighter to the fedora, its unnatural pulse throbbing against his palm like a heartbeat. The Fairhope Station platform is a nightmare come alive. The ground splits wider, revealing a yawning abyss below, its edges dripping with the same tar-like ooze that seeps from the walls. The watcher looms closer, its void-like face a swirling vortex that seems to pull at Ethan's soul. "Choose," it hisses, its voice a chorus of whispers that claw at his mind. Behind him, Sarah writhes under Tyler's grip, her eyes glowing an unnatural white, her voice snarling. "You can't take him from me." Mia, shaking but resolute, clutches the cracked timetable, her fingers tracing the red-circled dates from 1937. The air is suffocating, thick with the stench of decay and something older, something evil. The station's walls groan, the glowing graffiti, "He sees you," pulsing faster, as if the watcher itself is the heartbeat of this cursed place. Ethan's lighter sputters, the flame barely holding. He knows burning the fedora might be their only chance, but the visions it gave him, trapped souls, screaming passengers, make him hesitate. What if destroying it traps them all? Tyler shouts, "Do it, Ethan!" as he struggles to hold Sarah, her unnatural strength pushing him back. The tar hands from the abyss rise higher, wrapping around his legs, their touch burning like acid. Mia, her voice cracking, reads the timetable aloud. Every name, every date, it's a list of the Watcher's victims. She finds a name scrawled in fresher ink. Sarah Carter, 2025. Ethan's stomach drops. The Watcher isn't just haunting them. It's claiming Sarah as its next soul. He steels himself, igniting the fedora's edge. The fabric catches fire, and the station erupts in chaos. The Watcher screams, a sound like shattering glass, its form flickering as the flames grow. The tar hands recoil, and the abyss below churns violently, spitting out gusts of icy wind. Sarah convulses, her glowing eyes dimming, but she's still not herself, clawing at Tyler with nails that draw blood. The fedora burns brighter, and Ethan sees flashes in his mind. Amos Reed, the station worker from 1937, standing on this platform, offering his soul to save himself from the crash, only to become the Watcher, bound to collect others for eternity. The flames spread, and the Watcher's form distorts, its fedora melting into its void face. "You'll pay," it roars, and the platform tilts, throwing the group against a rusted bench. Mia grabs the timetable, noticing a hidden note tucked inside. Break the cycle. Free the anchor. She yells, "The timetable! It's tied to him too!" Ethan, still holding the burning fedora, realizes they need to destroy both artifacts to end the Watcher's hold. He tosses the fedora into the abyss, where it explodes in a burst of green flame, shaking the station. The Watcher howls, its body fracturing, but it's not done. It lunges at Mia, its claws grazing her arm, leaving a cold, numb wound. Tyler, desperate, smashes the timetable with his crowbar, shattering the wood and paper. The station shakes harder, and the glowing graffiti fades, but Sarah screams, her body lifting off the ground, suspended by invisible forces. "He's still here!" she cries, her voice a mix of her own and the Watcher's. Ethan dives for Sarah, pulling her down as the abyss begins to close, the tar hands retreating. The Watcher's form stabilizes, smaller, but still menacing, its void face now showing glimpses of Amos Reed's tortured eyes. "You can't free her," it whispers. Ethan notices a faint light from the ticket booth, a cracked mirror reflecting a golden glow, like the one in his visions of trapped souls. "The mirror!" he shouts. Mia, clutching her bleeding arm, nods. "It's the anchor!" They drag Sarah toward the booth, the Watcher's laughter echoing as the station's walls crack, threatening to collapse. Ethan grabs the crowbar, ready to smash the mirror, but the Watcher appears in the reflection, its claws reaching out. Will destroying the mirror save Sarah or doom them all? The station's collapse accelerates, and the group has seconds to act. Ethan's heart races as he grips the crowbar, the cracked mirror in the ticket booth reflecting the Watcher's void-like face, its claws reaching out from the glass. The Fairhope station is collapsing around them, walls splintering, the platform trembling as the abyss below churns with a deafening roar. Sarah, suspended by invisible forces, screams, her voice a haunting mix of her own and the Watcher's. "You can't take me!" Mia, clutching her bleeding arm, shouts, "Smash it, Ethan! It's the anchor!" Tyler, bruised and struggling to hold Sarah down, nods, his face pale but determined. The Watcher's laughter fills the air, a bone-chilling sound that seems to shake the very foundation of the station. The mirror glows with a sickly green light, but faint traces of golden warmth flicker within, like the hope Ethan saw in his visions. He raises the crowbar, his muscles burning, and swings with all his strength. The mirror shatters, and a blast of icy wind erupts, throwing the group back. The Watcher's scream pierces their ears, its form fracturing into shards of shadow that spiral into the abyss. Sarah collapses, gasping, her eyes clearing as the unnatural glow fades. The station groans, its walls cracking wider, but the tar-like ooze retreats, and the abyss begins to close, sealing itself with a rumble. The graffiti, "He sees you," dims, the red glow extinguished. Ethan drops to his knees, exhausted, as Mia and Tyler help Sarah sit up. She's trembling, her voice weak, but her own. "It's gone. I felt it leave." The group stumbles toward the gate, now unlatched, the thorny vines withered and crumbling. As they step into the humid mobile night, dawn's first light breaks over the horizon, casting a soft orange glow over Fairhope Station's ruins. The air feels lighter, the oppressive weight lifted, but the memory of the Watcher lingers like a scar. Ethan glances back, half expecting to see the fedora or the Watcher's void face, but the platform is empty. the station silent except for the distant hum of cicadas. Later, at a local diner, the group learns more from a retired historian who's studied Fairhope Station. The 1937 crash wasn't just an accident. Records from Mobil's historical archives reveal whispers of a worker, Amos Reed, who survived but was shunned for his strange behavior afterward. Locals believed he struck a deal with a dark entity to escape death, becoming the Watcher, bound to trap others in exchange for his own survival. The mirror, the historian says, was rumored to be a relic from the station's opening, used in rituals to seal the pact. Destroying it broke the cycle, freeing the trapped souls and Sarah. Ethan finds an old photo online, dated 1937, showing Amos in his fedora, his eyes eerily blank. The group shudders, realizing how close they came to joining him. What's the lesson here? The shadow on the platform teaches us that reckless curiosity can lead us into darkness, but courage and unity can pull us back. Ethan, Mia, Tyler, and Sarah face the Watcher because they chased thrills without considering the consequences. Much like countless urban explorers who ignore warnings for the sake of fame. Historical accounts of abandoned sites, like those documented in Alabama's railway records, show how tragedy and desperation can leave lasting scars, drawing the unwary into danger. In life, we're often tempted to push boundaries, whether for views, adventure, or validation. But this story reminds us to pause and weigh the risks. Trust your instincts. Lean on those around you, and don't let pride or curiosity trap you in a cycle you can't escape. When you're tempted to cross a line, ask yourself, is it worth your soul? This is the end of the group's terrifying night, but the question lingers. Would you dare step onto that platform? If this story chilled you, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales that make you question what lurks in the shadows. Stay safe, and maybe think twice before exploring abandoned places after dark. Story 3. One-way ticket. Trapped on a ghost train to hell. Imagine standing alone in a crumbling train station at 3 a.m., the witching hour, with nothing but the sound of your own heartbeat. That's where we find Ryan Mitchell, a 22-year-old college student from Columbus, Ohio, on a chilly November night in 2025. Ryan's obsessed with urban legends, and tonight he's at the derelict Hawthorne Station, a forgotten relic in Dayton, Ohio, known for a chilling rumor. If you stand before its ancient ticket booth at exactly 3 a.m., a ghostly ticket appears, marked Final Journey. Locals say those who take it never return. Ryan, armed with his phone for a live stream to his small YouTube channel, laughs off the stories. He's here to debunk the myth, maybe get some viral views. But as the clock ticks closer to 3, the air grows heavy, and a faint hum vibrates through the station's cracked walls. Ryan's phone glitches, the stream cutting in and out. Then, a creak echoes from the ticket booth. A yellowed ticket slides out, glowing faintly under the moonlight. Ryan's smirk fades as he reads the words, Final Journey, No Return. A cold wave washes over him, and the station lights flicker on, casting an eerie glow. A voice, low and hollow, whispers from the shadows, Your journey begins now. Ryan's heart skips. Is this a prank or something far worse? Stay with us, because this night is about to drag Ryan into a nightmare he can't escape. Ryan steps closer to the booth, his phone's flashlight shaking in his hand. The station is a wreck. Rusted tracks, shattered windows, and graffiti warning, "Don't take the ticket." He picks up the ticket, its paper brittle and cold as ice. The moment he touches it, the station transforms. The lights hum louder, and the air smells of coal and decay. Footsteps echo behind him, slow and deliberate. But when he turns, no one's there. His phone dies completely, despite a full battery. Panic creeps in, but Ryan's curiosity outweighs his fear. He notices an old schedule board flickering, displaying a single departure. Final journey, 3:05 a.m. The platform rumbles, and a massive black steam train materializes, its windows dark except for a sickly red glow. A figure in a tattered conductor's uniform appears at the booth, its face hidden in shadow, holding out a skeletal hand. "Your ticket," it rasps. Ryan's instincts scream to run, but the station's exits are sealed, the doors now solid walls. The train's whistle pierces the night, and invisible hands push him toward the open carriage door. Ryan stumbles, clutching the ticket, his live stream long dead. What has he just stepped into? And why does it feel like the station itself is watching him? Ryan's boots echo on the platform as he's shoved toward the train, its iron frame gleaming unnaturally under the station's flickering lights. The carriage door looms like a gaping mouth, the red glow inside pulsing like a heartbeat. He tries to drop the ticket, but it sticks to his hand, burning cold. The conductor's voice follows him, chillingly calm. "Board now, or stay forever." Ryan's mind races, recalling a story his professor shared about Hawthorne Station. In 1942, a train crash killed dozens, and survivors claimed a conductor offered them a final journey to escape death. Those who took it vanished, and the station was abandoned soon after. Ryan thought it was just a creepy tale, but now, standing before this impossible train, he's not so sure. He steps back, but the platform shifts, tilting toward the train like a trap. The air grows thick, and whispers fill his ears, voices calling his name, pleading, "Join us." Ryan's flashlight catches glimpses of faces in the train's windows. Pale, eyeless, their mouths open in silent screams. He bolts for the station's main hall, hoping for another exit, but the doors are gone, replaced by smooth, cold stone. The ticket booth glows brighter, and the conductor reappears, now taller, its uniform fraying into shadows. "You chose the ticket," it says, its voice echoing inside Ryan's skull. He notices an old photograph on the booth's counter, a grainy image of passengers from 1942, their faces matching the ones in the train's windows. At the center is a man in a conductor's uniform, his eyes scratched out. Ryan's breath catches as he sees his own face in the photo, impossibly standing among them. His phone buzzes once, showing a single frame from his failed stream, himself, holding the ticket, with the conductor's hand on his shoulder. The train's whistle blares again, and the invisible hands grow stronger, pulling him back toward the carriage. Ryan screams, but the station swallows the sound. Can he escape before the train claims him? Ryan's screams are drowned out by the deafening whistle of the ghostly train, its black iron frame looming like a predator on the platform of Hawthorne Station. The invisible hands dragging him toward the open carriage door tighten their grip, their touch cold as death, pulling him despite his thrashing. The ticket in his hand burns with an icy sting. The words "Final Journey," "No Return," glowing faintly, as if mocking him. The conductor, its skeletal form shrouded in a tattered 1940s uniform, stands at the carriage entrance, its shadowed face splitting into a lipless grin. "You took the ticket, Ryan," it rasps, its voice slithering through the air like fog. The station's lights flicker violently, casting strobe-like shadows that twist into clawing shapes on the walls. Ryan's phone, now useless, vibrates once, displaying a glitched image of himself inside the train, surrounded by pale, eyeless passengers. His heart pounds as he realizes the truth. The ticket isn't just a myth. It's a contract, and he's already signed it. He digs his heels into the platform, but the ground feels alive, rippling like liquid beneath him. The air is thick with the stench of coal and something metallic, like blood. Ryan's mind flashes to his professor's lecture about the 1942 crash at Hawthorne Station. Survivors spoke of a conductor who offered a way out after the wreck, but those who accepted vanished without a trace. Local archives, which Ryan researched for his channel, hinted at a darker truth. The station was built on a site tied to old rituals, where desperate workers made a pact with an entity to save the railway. The ticket booth was its altar. The tickets its chains. Ryan curses his curiosity, but there's no time for regret. The train's red glow pulses faster, and the whispers grow louder. Now a chorus of voices chanting, "Board, board." He notices a faint golden flicker from the ticket booth, a cracked pocket watch lying on the counter, its hands frozen at 3:05 a.m., the time of the crash. Ryan lunges for the watch, hoping it's a way out, but the invisible hands yank him back, slamming him against the carriage door. The conductor towers over him, its eyes glowing like dying embers. "The train hungers," it says, pointing to the ticket. "You're its fuel." Ryan's vision blurs, and he sees flashes, passengers from 1942, their faces contorted in fear, stepping onto the train only to dissolve into its walls. His own face appears among them, his eyes empty. He screams, kicking at the conductor, but his foot passes through it like smoke. The platform cracks, revealing a dark void below, swirling with red eyes that watch him hungrily. The watch in the booth glows brighter, and a soft voice, not the conductor's, but a woman's, whispers, "Break the chain, Ryan." He doesn't know who she is, but her words spark a flicker of hope. He crawls toward the booth, dodging the conductor's claws, which slash the air inches from his back. The station shakes, the walls oozing a black, tar-like substance that forms grasping hands. Ryan reaches the booth, grabbing the watch. It burns his hand, but he holds tight, feeling a pulse within it, like the tickets. The conductor's scream shakes the station. "You can't break the pact!" Ryan notices the ticket in his other hand glowing brighter, its edges fraying as if fighting to stay whole. He realizes the watch and ticket are linked, the pact's anchors. If he destroys them, he might free himself, but the risk is enormous. The train lurches, its doors snapping shut, trapping him inside the carriage. The red glow blinds him, and the passengers' faces appear in the walls, their mouths open in silent screams. The conductor materializes inside, its form growing larger, more monstrous. Ryan clutches the watch, his only hope, as the train begins to move, plunging into a tunnel of endless darkness. Can he destroy the anchors before the train consumes him? The woman's voice fades, and the conductor's laughter fills the void. Ryan clutches the cracked pocket watch in one hand and the glowing ticket in the other, their unnatural pulses sinking like a heartbeat as the ghostly train roars through a tunnel of endless darkness. The carriage of the Hawthorne Station train is a nightmare of rusted metal and oozing walls, the red glow from its windows casting grotesque shadows that writhe like living things. The conductor, its skeletal form now towering and distorted, its face a swirling void of embers and smoke, looms over Ryan, its claws inches from his throat. "You cannot break the chain," it snarls, its voice a cacophony of anguished screams. The passengers' faces, embedded in the carriage walls, moan in unison, their eyeless sockets fixed on Ryan, their mouths stretching impossibly wide. The air is thick with the stench of burning coal and decay, and the train's vibrations shake Ryan's bones. The woman's voice, soft, urgent, echoes faintly in his mind. "Break the chain, Ryan." He knows the watch and ticket are the anchors of the 1942 pact, binding souls to this cursed train. But destroying them feels like defying a force older than time itself. Ryan stumbles down the aisle, the floor slick with black, tar-like ooze that forms grasping hands, tugging at his ankles. He trips, catching himself on a rusted seat, its surface cold and sticky with what he fears is blood. The conductor's claws slash through the air, grazing his arm, leaving a burning, numb wound. Ryan gasps, his vision swimming, but he clings to the watch, its golden glow a faint beacon in the suffocating red light. He remembers a detail from his research. An old Dayton newspaper clipping about the 1942 crash mentioned a station master's wife, Clara, who tried to stop her husband from making the pact. She vanished, and her watch was found on the platform, broken. Could that be her voice guiding him? The train lurches, throwing him against the wall, and the passengers' moans grow louder, chanting, "Stay, stay." Ryan's phone, dead in his pocket, buzzes once, showing a distorted image of himself, his face pale and eyeless, standing among the passengers. He crawls toward a control panel at the carriage's end, hoping to find a way to stop the train. The panel is ancient, its levers rusted, but the watch's glow intensifies as he nears it, as if urging him forward. The ticket in his other hand burns hotter, its edges curling as if alive. Ryan slams the watch against the panel, cracking its glass face. A shock wave ripples through the carriage, and the conductor screams, its form flickering like a dying flame. The ooze hands recoil, and the passengers' faces twist in agony, some dissolving into wisps of smoke. "You'll doom us all!" the conductor roars, its claws lunging again. Ryan dodges barely and notices a small window near the panel, cracked and glowing with the same golden light as the watch. Beyond it, he glimpses a fleeting image, a Dayton sunrise, fields, freedom. He swings the watch again, shattering it completely, and the train shakes violently, its walls cracking. The ticket pulses faster, and Ryan realizes he must destroy it too. He pulls a lighter from his pocket, his hands shaking as he flicks it on. The flame catches the ticket's edge, and the carriage erupts in chaos. The red glow dims, replaced by bursts of golden light that burn the ooze hands away. The conductor's form fractures, its void face showing glimpses of a human one, Clara's husband, the station master, his eyes filled with regret. "You can't free them," it screams, but its voice weakens. The train slows, the tunnel outside fading to reveal Hawthorne Station's platform. Ryan's lighter gutters, and the ticket burns brighter, fighting to stay whole. The passengers' faces in the walls reach out, their hands solidifying, grabbing at him. The golden window flickers, its light weakening. Ryan knows he has seconds to act. He throws the burning ticket toward the window, hoping it will break the pact. The conductor lunges, its claws inches from his heart, as the train plunges deeper into the unknown. Will the fire free him or trap him forever? Ryan's lighter trembles as the ticket burns in his hand, its flames casting a golden glow that battles the suffocating red light inside the ghostly train's carriage. The Hawthorne Station train screeches, its walls cracking as the black, tar-like ooze retreats, hissing like a wounded beast. The conductor, its monstrous form fracturing into shards of shadow, lunges one last time, its claws grazing Ryan's chest, leaving a cold, searing pain. "You cannot break the pact," it roars, its voice a mix of fury and desperation, revealing glimpses of a human face. Clara's husband, the station master from 1942, trapped in his own curse. The passengers' faces embedded in the walls scream, their eyeless forms dissolving into wisps of light that spiral toward the cracked window. Ryan, gasping, hurls the burning ticket through the window, and it explodes in a burst of golden fire. The train lurches violently, throwing him to the floor as the red glow fades, replaced by a warm, dawn-like light. The woman's voice, Clara's, whispers one final time. "You're free, Ryan. Run." The carriage door snaps open, revealing the platform of Hawthorne Station, bathed in the soft orange of sunrise. Ryan stumbles out, collapsing onto the cracked platform, his body aching but alive. The train lets out a final, mournful whistle, its iron frame dissolving into mist as the first rays of daylight pierce the station. The watch and ticket are gone, their ashes scattered on the ground. The station feels different, silent, empty, the oppressive weight lifted. Ryan's chest heaves as he catches his breath, his mind reeling from the nightmare. His phone, somehow powered on, buzzes with a single notification. A frozen frame from his failed live stream, showing him standing alone on the platform. No conductor, no passengers. He shudders, realizing how close he came to joining them. As he limps toward the station's gate, now unlatched, he notices a faded plaque near the ticket booth. "In memory of Clara Hayes, 1942, who tried to save them." Clara, the station master's wife, must have been the voice guiding him, her spirit fighting the pact that trapped her husband. At a Dayton coffee shop later that day, Ryan digs into local archives online, confirming the station's dark history. A 1942 newspaper article describes the crash that killed dozens, with rumors of a station master who survived but was shunned for strange behavior. Historical records from the Ohio Railway Museum mention whispers of a ritual tied to the station, where a desperate pact bound souls to a ghostly train. The pocket watch, Clara's, was found broken on the platform after her disappearance, likely her attempt to destroy the pact. Ryan's destruction of the ticket and watch broke the cycle, freeing the trapped souls and himself. He finds a photo of Clara, her eyes kind but haunted, matching the voice that saved him. The weight of his recklessness hits hard. His chase for YouTube fame nearly cost him everything.